Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morale Booster with John Ughulu. And today I have with me a wonderful woman, a very intelligent woman. Her name is Tashana Thompson. Tashana, you do business coaching or executive?
Yeah, business and marketing coaching. Yes.
Right, business and marketing coaching. So today we're going to be talking about how she can impact the lives of people who are setting up businesses or who are already out there doing their businesses. So Tashana, thank you for joining me on the program.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure too. So my listeners will be eager to know who Tashana is. Can you please tell us who you are?
That's a loaded question.
Right, it is.
So from the business perspective, well, actually, I'll give you a holistic view. I'm a wife, I'm a mother, and I'm a business owner. I'm an entrepreneur. I've been in business for 13 years. I'm helping folks in the vein of business and marketing, as we discussed. I'm a digital marketer, and I love what I do, and I'm passionate about helping people really take their businesses and their lives to the next level.
Right. That's a good one. So passion is key.
Yeah.
Yeah, but passion is not the only ingredient.
No, it's not at all.
So that's why I want you to talk to the people who are listening right now, what other ingredients are to achieve business goals.
So the other ingredient is tenacity, right? We have to be tenacious about going after our dreams. But first, setting some really clear intentions and deciding what we want, right? That's the hardest part for most people. Everybody knows what they don't want. And we talk a lot about that and typically end up attracting more of that in our lives, right? So just setting some clear intentions, deciding what you really, really, really want, and going after it from there is key.
Awesome. That's a good one. Now, how did you get into, would you want to tell us how your journey started?
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
Sure, I'd love to, because there's such a testimony in it. And, you and I kind of emailed back and forth, and you asked, what I would say to entrepreneurs who are kind of thinking about taking the leap. So I was in a career, I was, young, in my mid 20s, like 24, 25. And I was working at a place that I loved a portion of the work. But the environment was becoming a situation that just wasn't good for me anymore.
Oh, okay.
And I was at the point in my life where I didn't have, a family. I did have a house. I didn't have a mortgage, but I didn't have a family to like really look after. So I had childlike faith, that childlike faith that the Bible talks about.
Yeah.
And I just decided that, after months of thinking and planning, I decided that I had saved a little nest egg and I was going to leave my job. And it really has, been one step and one evolution after the other. I just celebrated 13 years of business last month. Wow. But that was really, the thing that kind of catapulted me to the next level. And the funny story is, you'll never have enough money, or the conditions were never going to be like ideal. So I tell this story, and it's true. It's not just a story. Mm-hmm. When I decided to leave my job, I had saved $10,000. And, when you're 20 something, that's a lot of money, right?
It is a lot of money.
Right. You can live off that for a little while.
Right.
And I decided that I was going to live off that money and I was going to leave my job. So I went in, I told my boss, hey, I'm leaving. And long story short, I had a family member who was really in a bind and they needed a great portion of my money.
Oh.
And my heart is such that, of course, I gave it, right? Mm-hmm. But I already turned in my 2 weeks.
Oh.
So I couldn't take it back. But the faith part that happened there is maybe a week later, not even, my boss called me in and he said, I know you're leaving, you're finishing your MBA. Are you leaving to take another job, or are you leaving just to kind of finish your MBA? I said, oh, you don't tell him, oh, I'm miserable and I'm leaving, right? So I
Right.
told him, I'm just leaving to finish up and, kind of sort things out. So he offered me to go home, work from home, and
Oh,
become a contractor,
wow.
making double the money I was making.
Wow. Wow.
Double the money. So that first year I left, I made a little more than double the money that I had made in
Mhm.
the office, being
Wow.
miserable.
Wow. 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 That's a good one.
Yeah.
Especially when you get to work from home.
Yes.
That's the majority of that's our dream.
Right.
Majority of entrepreneurs want to work from the comfort of their homes, because right
Right.
now
And from
research
all
has
over the
proved it.
world.
Yeah,
Yeah.
research has proved it that those who work from home are more productive.
Hmm. I can
Yeah,
see that.
yeah. Okay, so that's a good one. So I know my listeners out there would be able to resonate with that. And for those people who are thinking of starting their own businesses,
Hmm.
what would be your advice, especially to those who do not have the exact amount of money they need to get into business?
Right. So there are never going to be ideal conditions like we've talked
Right,
about just a moment
right.
ago, right? So and I don't want to tell people, oh, leave your job and you got children to feed, right?
No,
Um, but there is a way to take calculated risk, right? And you and I both know that nothing happens in business without taking some calculated risk.
yes,
So really devising a plan of action, and whether it's you give yourself, 90 days, 6 months, or whatever it is to save the money and decide what you're willing and able to do to
right,
get you to the next level.
right,
Um, but you first have to decide. And then after you decide, do you really believe? Do you know that you know that you know that you can achieve your goals and get to the next level?
right, right. That's a good one. You know, there's never a right time.
Never,
Yeah.
ever.
You know, the only thing I know is the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago.
Exactly.
And the next best time is now.
Absolutely. I love that.
That's it. So even when that business idea comes up, I always encourage people to write it down.
Yes.
That is the first step.
Yes.
Write it down, because if you do not write it down, it's going to remain up there as a fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
But the moment you write it down, it becomes a goal.
Yep.
And the next thing would be to take action.
Absolutely.
Right. So action does not necessarily have to be with, be you having the whole amount of money. It could be
Right.
just doing your own feasibility studies, going
Exactly.
around networking. Yes, networking could take forever, no problem, but just keep
Right.
moving. Yeah,
Right.
never a right time.
And
Okay,
establishing a personal brand is really important,
that's it.
outside from your company. And like you mentioned, networking and building some really good relationships with people. You're nothing without relationships.
Right, right, right. That's true. Okay, so what's your take on getting educated before getting into a new business?
So I am someone who has a couple of master's degrees and
A
a couple of
couple.
graduate,
Whoa,
yeah,
wow.
a
Like
couple of
how many?
graduate certificates. I have two.
Okay.
I have an MBA in human resources and an MBA in marketing.
Oh,
And I have graduate certificates in project management. I say all that to say it doesn't really mean much. I mean, it's nice.
mm-hmm.
It gives you some basis of credibility,
Right.
but I don't walk into a room and say, like, and with the crisis that we're having in this country with student loan debt, I am really not as someone that's educated. I'm not someone who's saying you have to be educated to get. There's a million ways to become educated, right?
Right.
Formal education is not the only way.
Yes.
So, I have a good friend who helps me with a lot of web design. He taught himself, and he is incredible.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
incredible. So yeah, I know that
Yeah.
that's not what you were looking for, but
No, that's exactly what I'm looking for. Basically, this is a mentoring and a coaching platform,
right,
right? Where we use what we've already acquired to impact the lives of those people who are currently listening.
right.
So, yeah, what you just said is right. Education does not necessarily have to be a university
No,
education,
no,
university degree. Yeah, but just get educated. If you're going into fashion designing, you should learn the trade. If you
mhm,
are going into catering, wanting to be a chef, you have to go get some training on that.
right.
Yeah, no
And
knowledge is
continuing
worth
to educate yourself, because
right.
I think that there's people who have degrees in traditional education that rest on their laurels and think that, oh, I know that and I learned that 10 years ago. I got my marketing MBA, let me look at the calendar, over a decade ago, and I'm not that old, okay?
Yeah,
So if I had done nothing else, if I had never learned another piece of marketing strategy or technology, I would be up a creek without a ladder, right? Because when I got my master's, social media was not what it is now.
yeah,
Digital marketing was not what it is now.
yeah,
So it's not only about it's about continuing to educate yourself.
yeah.
So yeah,
Keeping yourself abreast of the
yes,
situation in whatever area you find yourself in.
and making yourself the expert. Making
That's
yourself the expert.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So, if you want to, advise someone now,
Hmm.
for example, a single parent who
Yeah.
feels, she has a hand. Let's use a woman now. A woman with young children who feels she has a handful and would like to get into business and
Hmm.
is currently not earning well. What would be your advice? How would you help them come out of that mental block to help them achieve that dream they actually want for themselves and their
Right.
kids?
So, first, it's all about mindset. So we can never get anywhere with poverty mindset or believing that, what I see right in front of me today is all that there will ever be. So, I would do a lot of mindset work and setting goals. I'm really big about setting goals and intentions. I love the fact that you mentioned writing it down. One of my favorite books of all time is Write It Down, Make It Happen.
Oh, okay.
So I would really I would really encourage her to first, again, decide what you want, decide what you can do, because we all have a million things we can't do, right? We
Right.
all have limitations, but what can you do and what are you willing to do? What are you able and willing to do today to get you to the next level and to get you to what you say you want? You know, um, I'm not a single parent, but I was raised by one, and even being married to my husband is a salt of the earth, and he helps me so much.
Yeah.
But even with that, there's a lot. You're tired at the end of the day. So
Yeah.
you have to decide what if you really want it, you're gonna stay up that extra hour to plan, to write your goals out, whatever the case may be. What can you do? Because there's a lot of things we can't, but what can you do?
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good one. And just so the listeners out there can
Hmm.
grab one or two things from what I want to say now. A lot of people do not, let me say, they underestimate the power of writing down goals.
Hmm.
So if you are listening right now and you do not write down things you think of, let's just make this a starting point for you. Just try it. Start writing down things. If you think of any business idea, write it down. You would find out that it's easier for you to always achieve or even work towards it than when you have it up there in your head. In your head. So writing down is key. Do not ever underestimate it. I'm sure Tashana would want to testify to that. You say you have a book. about that?
Absolutely. No, it's not my book, but it's a book that my mother gave me when I was in my early 20s.
Oh, okay.
And when I was probably for my 21st birthday. And I literally bought a house and a car the month I graduated from undergrad based on the principles of writing it down.
Yeah.
And I believe
Oh,
that
okay.
once you write it down, the vision really takes off. So there's a couple of things that I would encourage people to write down. There's a couple of things that I do every single day. I write down my gratitude every single day. I'm writing
Yes.
down 10 things that I'm grateful for. And secondly, I have my goal statement,
Right.
and I write that several times a day.
Right.
So, and anything else that comes up, any little, like I have a little piece of paper right here, an idea I had from my email blast or,
Yeah.
Whatever the case may be.
Yeah. I always have a journal.
Yes,
Always.
I love,
Always.
yeah, I have
Always.
yes, I am obsessed with journals, but, people that are really digital minded, there's all types of notebook apps and
Yeah.
journal apps and phones and things like that. But it starts there. It really starts there.
All right. But do you know that? Okay, you should know that there is an energy that comes with you just grabbing a pen
Mm-hmm.
and a sheet of paper.
Yeah.
It's completely different from having this.
I totally agree. In your hand and in your voice, and there's actually another trick that I just finished yesterday. I have a script that I have written things that my goals as if they have already happened, if they've
Right.
already been realized. And I recorded myself saying this stuff, and I'm listening to myself say it. So I'm feeding it to my subconscious. Like, I am so serious about manifesting the life of my dreams. And we all have to get like that. Like, we say arbitrarily, oh, I want that or I want this. But some of us are lost in the state of wanting,
Yes,
and we have to get about the business of having.
that's true.
Yep. But I love writing things down. My favorite scripture, Habakkuk 2:2, write the vision down and you make it plain.
Yes.
So, yeah, I love that. And I love that we share that commonality that,
Right. So
right.
for my listeners, just give it a try. Cultivate the habit of writing with a pen. It's quite different from using a notebook, using the phone or your tablet. It's completely different. There is a different energy that goes with it. It gives you a form of seriousness that you would know for you to grab a pen and a sheet of paper. It means you're actually serious about it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a force that always draws you back to that document. So I want you guys to try it today. And if you notice any changes, feel free to reach out to me. I know it works. That is therapy on its own.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So how's your work life blend?
I'm creating the life that I want.
Right.
So, there are some days, some weekends that I work the weekend, and there's some days that I can go and have a party, be at school with my daughter for her birthday party or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But focus energy is the name of the game, right?
Right.
Like you talked about being productive. So I'm the kind of person that I can get more done in 2 hours with focused energy
Yeah.
than most people can get them done in a whole couple of days.
That's true.
So the good thing about being an entrepreneur is that you decide, right?
Yes.
Within the constraints of being available to your clients, like you decide what that looks like for you. Sometimes, last night I worked until 9 o'clock. Some days I'll end at 2 or 3. It just depends. And I listen to myself, I listen to my body, I listen to my energy, because when I don't, I get sick.
That's true. That's a fact. No matter how eager we are to make money, we should always consider the fact that once we fall sick, we won't be able to go after that dream anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So the best thing is to take care of yourself. We need to have moderation, which at times could be difficult. But whenever one remembers, always go back to that and say, no, I need a break.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, what kind of clients do you work with, so that if my listeners would like to reach out to you,
Sure,
do you
sure,
work with
sure.
startups?
Not so much startups. My clients are typically more established businesses. I do have a couple folks who are starting up that I have helped, but most of my clients are looking to outsource their marketing services.
Okay.
And, I have a suite of services that I handle everything from strategy to digital marketing, email marketing, social media, for those that don't know what that means. Um, so, yeah, some startups, but mostly established businesses who speakers, coaches, have several attorneys that are really looking to stay in their lane and
Right.
service their client and
Right.
have someone else take care of the marketing piece for them.
Oh, okay. That's a good one. So, do you have any technology background?
Yes, a bit, a bit. So, we dibble and dabble in everything, right? So,
Yeah.
yes, obviously, I know WordPress. I know I use several technologies to um, do my email marketing, social, and all that good stuff. So, yeah, a
Right.
bit of a technology background. Yes.
Oh, okay. No problem. So, for the listeners out there, if you fall into the category who Tashana works with, feel free to reach out to her.
And
Are
even
you
if you
on?
don't, reach out.
Yeah. So, are you on Facebook, Instagram?
I am everywhere. I am everywhere at Grow with B like boy, B like boy, or Beyond Business Solutions. Grow with BBS everywhere. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. You can find me.
Awesome, awesome. So, I hope you guys learned one or two things from Tashana and I. This is the platform I use to encourage people to chase their dreams. No matter what, it is never too late to chase your dreams. So if you are listening right now and you've been thinking prior to today about starting your business, this is the best time. Call Tashana. She will be able to guide you. Although she says she works with established businesses, but trust me, just give
They
her a
have
call
help.
first and she would
Yes,
make room for you.
yes, yes.
All right. So, Tashana, thank you for joining me on the program. And I look forward to having you on so many other episodes. I hope when I call upon you, you would be
Absolutely.
ready
Thank
to
you for
go.
having me.
My pleasure.